Hey everybody, welcome to the next installment of Beardy's Books, my comic haul rundown each week. This is for Wednesday, May 25th. It is the release date of DC's Rebirth. We did the midnight launch party last night, and that was a lot of fun. Had a lot of great customers out at the store, so if you were at Comics Connection in Mechanicsburg and I saw you there, thanks for coming out and making that a great night. Hope you enjoyed DC Rebirth, but I will get to that in a minute. First up is previews. The June previews is out, and this is for most of your monthly titles that will be shipping in August. As always, just go through your book, pick out the stuff. If you are a subscriber to this at Comics Connection, either in York or Mechanicsburg, make sure you get your order form, your blue order form in by Saturday, June 11th. That is the due date for the June previews at Comics Connection. We got the much anticipated by a lot of people, the Jim Lee Suicide Squad. And on the other side, one of my favorite comics, Saga. It's a beautiful cover there by Fiona Staples. Cannot wait to see where this next story arc goes. But anyway, June catalog for August books due June 11th at Comics Connection. If you don't live in our area or can't make it to Comics Connection, check with your local shop and see if they have previews for you to see what's coming out. Today was a very sad day for me in comics. I'm not going to spend a lot of time. I just want to put a big disclaimer on how massively disappointed I was in the story of Captain America, Steve Rogers, #1. I have been eagerly anticipating this. Cap has, much enhanced by the movies, become one of my favorite Marvel characters. I love the way Chris Evans portrays him in the movies and the way the writers and directors and all that stuff have been treating him in the cinematic universe. And he's had a little bit of a rough go in the comics, so he lost his super soldier serum. He'd been, reduced to kind of this older guy who was still kind of calling the shots, and they did some stuff. It just kind of felt like they weren't sure what to do with him. So when I saw he was coming back, getting a new costume, new shield, I was like, okay, cool. And I read this issue, and let me just say, the artwork is beautiful. It's fantastic artwork in this series, or this issue so far. I mean, this great moment between him and Sharon is just fantastic. And I love that they're not drawing Sharon as just, a young comic book female character. Like, she's got some age to her. I think that's fantastic. And I think, because it shows the effort and everything. So I want to give as much praise to this book as far as the skill and dedication that went into the art team on what they did. And I have to say, the issue was well written. I just hate what they wrote. Absolutely hate it. I got to the end of the issue, and I felt like I had my guts ripped out. Nick Spencer and whoever else gave you the permission to write this, and Marvel for backing this story, you broke my heart. You have done something to Steve Rogers, and I'm going to spoil it right here. You've done something to Steve Rogers that maybe somehow you'll twist this story around and redeem it or whatever. I have no idea how you're going to do that. But as far as I'm concerned with Captain America in the comics, you have destroyed what he stands for, what he represents, not just as a comic icon, but just to fans, not just what he is in the comics, but to fans like myself, other readers out there. I've seen a lot of people upset about this. It's disgusting. And again, maybe I'll be eating my words in a couple months as the story progresses, but for right now, what you're doing here, if it's just shock value, shame on you. If this is legitimately where you think this story is going and what this character deserved, shame on you again. I am utterly disappointed and disgusted with this story. Making Steve, continuing on the story of his abusive father towards his mother, I think that's awful. There's other ways you could have had Steve stand up for who he was, like they did in the movies where he's just bullied. He could have gotten his strength from his mother and his father. I know stuff gets tweaked, and I know you're not the one who started that, but that's a horrible storyline. I'm spending way too much time on this issue. Turning him into a Hydra agent from his childhood is just wrong. How dare you? How dare you do that to this character? He deserves better. The fans deserve better. And like I said, maybe I'll be taking my words back. I don't know, because I'm not reading it. I'm done. It's taking me everything within my power to not tear this up and throw it in the garbage. Because that's what I think about the story that was told in this issue. Written well, drawn well. Horrible. I don't know what else to say. You know what? As far as I'm concerned, Captain America is dead. This is some freakish imposter. Because him being a Hydra agent destroys everything good about what Captain America stands for. I don't care if he's, from this interview I read, if he's supposed to be, you know, trying for a better Hydra, a better version of Hydra, whatever. It's against everything that we have been told over the last 75 years of this character that he stands for. I don't know how you can justify that. You have done more damage in this one comic than I think Zack Snyder has done in 2 movies for the DC Universe. So, that's it. I'm done. I'm not talking about this again. Sadly, I'll have to read about Captain America showing up in other comics because he's part of Uncanny Avengers, which I love. I'm sure he's going to have some part to play in Civil War 2 and other things going on. But as far as his own solo series, Sam Wilson is Captain America, in my opinion. There is no more Steve Rogers. Thanks. So, anyway, that said, let's get on to something a little more positive. And I gotta go really fast because I have a time limit, because my phone only has so much memory. DC Rebirth. I did a much more in-depth with Sean just a little while ago, but I want to show you the full spread here. Fantastic cover. Love that. Great book. Really cool. Check out the link. Once Sean gets that video posted, I'll try to put a link to here. But DC Universe Rebirth #1, the one-shot that kicks off this new recalibration of the DC Universe, is fantastic. Gorgeous art from so many different talents. Great writing from Jeff Johns. Jeff Johns, thank you so much for doing this for the DC Universe. This is the book DC has needed. There's been a lot of great series on its own, but the whole universe needed a tweak, and you gave it in this book. So I cannot give you enough praise, enough congratulations. I am really excited for DC and where this Rebirth initiative and all this is going to go. So congratulations on that. Speaking of Captain America, I got the Winter Soldier back there and some pops because, you know, that's what I'm going to look for Captain America from now on. But Captain America, Winter Soldier, the Guide to the Marvel Cinematic Universe book came out today. It's a flip book. On the other side is the Ant-Man movie. This is great. It's like the classic Marvel universe guidebooks. You know, it gets into each of the characters, gets into if they were in the comics, it gets to how they appeared in the comics and all that stuff. But that's a fun series. They've been doing all the Marvel movies. I know Shield's going to be coming soon and all that stuff. So that's a great fun series. Yeah. Another book that I read, Nighthawk #1. Not that thrilled with this book. Again, it was well written. The art was good. Not a style I personally like. It's definitely in the vibe of Punisher that I reviewed a couple weeks ago. With that, it's got a similar feel to the art style. It's very brutal. It's very dark. It's a little more than I want from a Marvel comic character. So hey, it might be great for other people, but for me, issue 1 was good enough. I'm trying to try new things, but moving on. Also, this is going to be the final issue of Totally Awesome Hulk that I will probably be reviewing. Told myself I'd get the first 6 issues to see where it went, and it has been a lot of fun. But with this DC Rebirth coming up, I'm going to try some more things there. But Totally Awesome Hulk 6 is the second half of the story of Amadeus Cho and his encounter with Enchantress Amora from the Asgard realms and all that, and how Jane Foster Thor comes and intervenes. So that's that book has been constantly fun, action-packed, humorous, well-drawn, different artist on issue 5 and 6. Frank Cho did the first 4. Is it Mike Choi did issues 5 and 6, I believe. Great stuff. Speaking of Asgard, Mighty Thor issue number 7 out this week. It is the story that picks up where number 6 left off, where Loki is telling a story to the head of Roxxon. I can't remember his name at the moment. But Loki's retelling a story about how he created the strongest Viking that ever was, that challenged Thor, and it's kind of a filler story. It felt like a filler story, rather. And that was a little annoying at first, to spend almost 2 full issues with a different artist, even though the art was great. I like how the flashback is told through a different art style, but was not thrilled with it at first. But the way it played out and what it introduced was some pretty cool things. I clearly was not as upset about it as I was as Captain America #1. It just kind of felt like the story's stalling out, but patience paid off. And again, maybe with Captain America it will too, but for now. But Mighty Thor, good stuff. Like where this is going, how Loki's manipulating everything, and how they're introducing some characters. I could have sworn I saw a Native American Ghost Rider riding a bear. I don't know if I am understanding that correctly, or if it's attached to a character that I've just don't know, but I thought that was pretty darn sweet. So yeah, I'm really intrigued to see where that goes. Next up, the next entry in Apocalypse Wars, Extraordinary X-Men #10, from Jeff Lemire and Humberto Ramos and the rest of the amazing art crew on this book. Great story. You're following the X-Men as they're in the future, where Apocalypse is taken over, and Colossus is one of the 4 Horsemen. You're also watching Ilyana train her new protege, Sapna, who's a new younger mutant who can control magic and demonic forces and stuff, since they are in limbo. That's playing a key. So just some great work with this little critter here, and it's just really cool seeing magic get to kind of bloom beyond the kind of whole Dark Child routine. Not that there's anything wrong with that, which is cool seeing her like as a full-on teacher now. And my favorite issue of the week, Mockingbird #3. It's been playing along with that whole series, where you're kind of flashing back to the different individual stories that they set up in the first issue as she's in the waiting room of the doctor's office. In this one, she encounters a young, I don't know if I think she's a mutant, or someone who's come into powers who may not be controlling them correctly. And you get this whole thing with a new news anchor and a helicopter and all this stuff, and how it's hard for her being a female in the kind of male-dominated world of superheroes. It's a very, I mean, you could easily and cheesily call this a girl power issue, but you know what? There's nothing wrong with that, because there's a lot of awesome kick-ass females in the Marvel Universe. Mockingbird is one of them. She doesn't really have any powers. She's kind of like, Rhodey in the Iron Man suit, or a lot of other characters that just do it because it's the right thing to do, or they want to, and I really like that. It was a fun issue, a lot of good stuff, great artwork. Cannot wait to see what comes out next with this. But yeah, so hey, I'm running out of time, so I'm gonna get going. I'm also really tired. Watch for the DC Rebirth review with Sean and I, and I'm also going to be checking out X-Men Apocalypse the movie tomorrow night, or Thursday night, depending on when this video posts. Got some good reviews from my girlfriend. She seemed to really like it. So I'm going to try to go into it being a little more optimistic and hopeful than I have been up to this point. Been pretty dour about it. So I'm going to try to just let it be what it is and see what I think. So I'll be back sometime late tomorrow night with a quick review with Sean, because he will be there with me. And then we'll do like a full-on review of the movie at some point over the weekend, I think. If not, to all my American friends, have a great Memorial Day weekend. Everyone else, thanks for watching. This is Jesse, the Beardy, from the Beardy and the Baldy channel, saying peace out. Go get your new comics. Have a great day.